Hi friends, welcome to the Lockdown Teen Fitness class. So we're going to be putting this on YouTube, so hopefully you're accessing this from YouTube. So obviously no props today, just have a yoga mat or another mat or rug that you can exercise on and join me there. So we're going to do about a 45-minute class. Do our little stretch warm up, a little bit of heart rate, a little bit of strength, and then cool back down with another stretch. So join me on the mat, create a nice wide-legged position, rotating the feet outwards, sinking into a nice deep bend. From here, cactus the arms out wide, start to tap into your breath, take a big inhalation, puff the chest forward, and exhale, roll, imagine you're giving yourself a big hug. Working through that a couple more times. Inhale to open, exhale, rolling forward, tapping into the spine, opening through the chest, exhale to roll. And one more, inhale, open, exhale, big hug, finding a nice neutral spine and placing hands on your upper thighs. Sink a little bit deeper into the squat, check that the knees are over the ankles, and then dip your left shoulder inwards. So imagine you're trying to draw your left shoulder towards your right thigh. Allow your chest to rotate to the right, adding that nice little twist into the spine, little chest stretch as we rotate. Deep inhalations and exhalations. Inhale, lift. Give your thighs a little rest, rock your hips side to side, and again sink back down into that nice low squat. This time dropping the right shoulder towards the left. Again getting that nice twist through the spine, through the chest. Super good. Make sure we're keeping that nice bend in the knees. Nice work. Inhale to lift, fingertips reach high, and exhale, arch them down. Two more with your breath, lifting and rising, exhale, lower. One more, and lowering down. This time just turning your toes towards the right side so that they're pointing towards the front of the mat. From here, check that your feet are like on railway tracks. So we've got a little bit of distance between the feet, so they shouldn't be on a tight rope. Start to bend into that right knee and allow the back knee to drop. Fingertips find the ground. Now you can do it with hands on hips, otherwise have fingertips on the ground, and we're just going to rock forwards and backwards. So just pumping through the knee a couple of times, getting into that left hip flexor and into that right hamstring. Super good. Maybe holding one of these positions so you can rock forward and really allow that left hip to drop, almost like you're coming into a bit of a half split. And from there you'll feel that nice stretch working its way into the left hip flexor. So really sink into the stretch. Feel that opening through the hip, and then rocking backwards and holding the hamstring stretch. So start to draw your hips back onto your heels. See if you can lift the toes up. Your knee might be a little bit bent, that's okay. Otherwise try to work on getting as much straightening as you can, just so that you're feeling that stretching sensation. You shouldn't be feeling any sharp pain. If it's a little bit sharp, just back on off. Nice work. And bending back into that knee. Hands on hips, lifting the chest. From here again, we're going to cactus the arms out wide and roll through the spine like we did at the beginning. Working with the breath. So inhale, open, chest expands. Exhale, rolling forward, arching through the spine. Going through that twice more. Last one, expanding, opening, big hug to the front. Fingertips find the ground. Lift that back left knee off. Rise the fingertips high, coming into your high lunge. Again, just checking our position here. So keeping hips squared to the front, back heel is lifted. Active through the arms to really send that energy up into the fingertips. To go a little bit deeper, we can grab the left wrist and arch over to the right side. Getting that nice big side body stretch. Good work. Coming back to the center. Hands come down to the mat. Drop that back heel. And we're just going to rotate back to the side of the mat. So we're in a nice wide forward fold position. From here, just start to walk the hands a little bit further away from the side of the mat so that you're getting a nice little bit of release through the spine. Feeling that nice stretch through the hamstrings. So imagining it's kind of like a wide downward dog position, like we've done a couple times in class previously. Fingertips come back to the center and we turn to face the back of the mat. So turning all the way so that your toes are pointing towards the left now. And again, back heel drops. And we're just going to rock forwards and backwards like we did on the other side. So just pumping into that knee, letting the hip drop, drawing the hips back, letting the toes lift. And again, let's hold each position. So rocking forwards, really allowing that right hip to drop to get into that hip flexor. Just check that your left knee is over your left ankle. So we're keeping our knee nice and safe. As you exhale, see if you can drop a little bit deeper, coming into that half split position. And now drawing the hips backwards to the heel. Start to lift the left toes off of the mat. And again, if you need to keep a bend in that left knee, feel free to do so. Otherwise, try to work on getting that nice opening through the back hamstring, the back of the leg. Super good, rocking forwards, knee is over ankle, rising up, hands on hips, keeping the back knee down, the right knee down, and again we're going to do those nice big openings and hugs, rolling forward, inhale, expanding the chest to the sky, exhale, rolling forward, 2 more with your breath, just feeling that rolling in the spine. Nice work. Fingertips find the mat. Right knee lifts. Really engage inner thighs and core to lift the fingertips higher, coming into our high lunge. Hips are squared to the back of the mat. And again, feel free to grab the right wrist with your left hand and we can reach it over to the left to get that side body stretch. And releasing that down. Finding the mat, rotating hands to the side, hands find the hips and lift back up into a standing position. Finding feet under the hips, and we're just going to start to heat it up a little bit. So we're going to come into some nice deep squats. So always with our squats we want the good position, so we're going to go a little bit wider with the feet. Have a little bit of rotation outwards in that foot position. Just become aware of your abdominal muscles, so get that nice upward pull. And we're going to sink down as if you're about to take a seat. And we're going to lower and lift. As we stand, we don't fully straighten the legs. We just come up with a slight bend in the knees at the top. So just starting to pick up the pace with it, so drop and lift, bend and lift, driving the heels down into the mat, really feeling the back hip muscles squeezing to lift as you extend through the legs. So bend, lift, nice work, going for 4 and 3, 2 and 1. And we're going to come into our jumping jacks. So it's like our little star jumps. So as the hands come up, the feet jump wide, and then we bring it all together. And again, we're going to start to pick it up. So just starting to feel a little bit more blood flow, a little bit more warmth as we step it out and in, jumping out and in. Nice work. Land softly with your feet. Little baby bend in the knees as you land. All right, good work. Coming back to the squats in 2, 1, and down. Down, down. Last 4, 3, 2, 1, and 8 jacks. And 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it together. We go for 2 squats and 2 jacks. 2 squats and 2 jacks. Down, up, jump it out, jump it out. Down, up, jump it out, jump it out. Last 3 rounds. Jump it out. 2, out, in, last 1. Out, in. Good, and just finding that nice standing position, rolling through the shoulders. Deep inhalation, fingertips lift high. Exhale, allow them to lower. Shaking it out, shaking the arms out, releasing through the shoulders. So just catching your breath after that little bit of heart rate. We're going to come into our little karate kicks. So first we need to just find our balance onto the left leg. So shifting body weight onto the left side. Hands are going to be on hips. Make sure we've got that nice engagement of the left hip so we're not dropping the hip to the side. And from there, we're going to tap the right foot behind. Little baby bend in the left knee. And then kick it forward. So tap it behind. Add that little baby bend in the left knee. And kapow to the front. Nice. And again, starting to pick up that pace. So tap it back, kick it forwards. Good work. So really feeling that balance down the left leg, that strength in the left hip, and that little engagement of the core and hip flexor as you kick it forward. Nice. Let's go for 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep building the heat in that standing, stabilizing left hip. So we're going to keep the balance on that side. From here, we're going to keep right toes on the mat, and we're just going to slightly rotate the knee to the side. So it's not all the way out, just probably about 30 to 45 degree external rotation in that hip. So just getting comfortable with that little movement first. So it's like we're closing and opening the door using our knee. So a little external rotation out and in. Feeling a little bit more heat build in that left hip. Super good. And from there we're going to open, hold, shift more body weight into the left foot and go for a little kick behind. Okay, so hips are staying squared to the front, and we don't need to do it as a big kick. It's just a nice little squeeze of that right hip to lift and kick the leg behind. So try to keep that opening in the knee as we lift and lower. Super good. Let's go for 4 more. Last 3, big kick. 2, feel that glute. Squeeze and lift. Super good. Rock the hip side to side. Let go of that tension in that stabilizing leg. And we're going to come through that on the other side. So body weight comes onto the right side this time. Let's first tap it back. Little baby bend in the right knee. And then we're going to kapow it to the front. So tap it back, kick it forwards. So coming into our little karate kicks. You don't have to do a big lift. Maybe you're kicking a little bit lower. Imagining you're just kind of kicking a ball to the front. Maybe you want to go high and bring that energy into it. So you can try and kick about hip height. And that's going to get a little bit more of that hip flexor switched on. Really good. Soft with our landing. Last 4. And 2. And 1. Good. Again, coming into that little opening and closing on the left side this time. So we have the left toes on the ground and we close the knee and we open. And again, it's not a big opening, it's just about halfway to the side essentially. So it's just like a little gapping, a little closing. Again, make sure we're not dropping into that right side. Super active through that hip. And open, close. Nice work. Feeling all those little deep hip muscles on the left side. We come into that open position, find our balance and kick it back. And close. And kick. So it's almost like you're kicking into like a little bit of a scorpion tail. So we keep that little opening through the knee. As we kick, we can allow the chest to slightly move forward like mine is doing. Just try to keep that abdominal engagement nice and switched on. Last 4. And 2. And 1. Last little bit of heat, like cardio. We're going to do little basketball jumps. Okay, so we land softly into like a bit of a chair position and then we drive and build that lift from there, okay? So we're just getting a little baby jump. Use the hands to help drive the lift. Check that as we land, the knees don't move past the toes. So it's like a little half squat. And we go for 5 more. Last 3, 2, 1. Inhale, roll the shoulders open. Exhale, dive it down, coming into a forward fold. Add a bend into the knees if you need, so you can get the hands onto the mat. And just release the crown of the head towards the ground. Feel that opening, that release into the spine. Big stretch through the back of the legs here. Super good. Okay, we're going to step it back to come into a hands and knees position. So, starting to tap into a little bit more core work. So, hands are under the shoulders, knees are under the hips. And just imagine that you're having a super flat back. So we want to imagine that we can balance like a tray on top of our back. So we don't want the tummy to be dipping down and we don't want to be overly arching through the back. So we're just nice and neutral, nice and flat. Start to really pull and engage through the core. So imagining you're zipping up and squeezing your belly into a tight pair of jeans. Try to keep that nice activation. And then we're going to slide the right leg back. So come into a nice straight position through that right leg. From here you can stick with that version. So you can just go for little lifts and lowers on the right side. Just working on getting that right hip squeezing. Try to keep the hips squared down to the mat. To go a little bit harder, we're going to balance and lift the left arm up, finding a bird dog position. And then from there, without losing your abdominal activation, Bringing the left elbow to the right knee as you exhale, so curl it in. So inhale, stretch it out. Exhale, curl it in. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, curl. Keeping the hips squared to the mat. Keep that back nice and flat. Pulling in through the abdominals as we curl it in. Last two. Last one. Reach it out and bring hand and knee down and take a quick little rest in your child's pose. So hips find the heels, arms reach out in front, chest lowers into the mat. Just allow your forehead to sink into the earth. Just take this moment to quickly relax before we do the other side. Super good. Okay, inhale, coming back onto hands and knees position. From there, we're going to this time extend the left leg behind. Now your first option is to just lift and lower that leg. So maybe that's enough. Maybe you're just kind of working on getting those little lifts, activating through the left hip, keeping the abdominals switched on. Again, scoop up through your belly, squeeze in those abdominals, lift the back leg, and go for your full version if you want to. So right arm reaches in front. As we exhale, knee curls to the elbow. Inhale, extend. Exhale, curl it in, really tighten through those upper abdominals. Inhale, extend. Exhale, curl. Good. Let's just go for a few more. Last 3, 2, and 1. Curl it in, push it out. Hand and knee finds the mat. Hips find the heels, fingertips behind the hips. Inhale, puff the chest towards the ceiling, getting that nice little stretch. And exhale, release. Curling the feet around to the front, coming into a little bit more core work. So we want to create a nice V shape with the thighs and the torso. Again, think about zipping up and holding those abdominals. Feet are flat into the mat. And again, you have a couple options here. So fingertips can reach behind, and maybe you just want to hold that position and work on little engagements through the abdominals. Your next choice is to imagine you're holding a ball and you're tapping the ball side to side. So working through there. Maybe that's enough. Maybe you're feeling super strong and active through the core. To go a little bit harder, we lift the legs so that the shins are parallel with the ceiling, and we tap side to side from there. So try not to lose that nice V shape between your thighs and chest. Try not to lose the straightness in your spine. So we're not hunching down or overly arching, we're just nice and flat and long through the spine. Good. As we keep going, let's do another round a little bit quicker. So let's go for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Hug it in and let it go. So just bring your chest to your thighs, feet are on the earth, little hug. Just let go of all those muscles. Let your body relax for a moment, and then we're going to come into one more variation of our core boat position. Okay, preparing, ready to engage the muscles again, sorry. So we come into that nice V shape. Now again, you can keep the feet on the mat if that works better for you. And we're just going to, like we've done a couple times already, come into our opening and closings of the arms. So we inhale, cactus the arms out. Exhale, roll forward, hug it in. Inhale, leaning back, open the arms. exhale, hug it in. So it's like you're going to sit back, opening, relaxing to the sky, and rolling forwards. So that's your first option. To go a little bit harder, again the shins lift so that they're parallel with the ceiling. As we lean back, we extend through the legs, and then we hug in, curl into a tight ball. So we open, lean, hug it in. So reclining back, curling into a nice tight ball. So super reliant on your abdominals to open and hug. Good work. Let's just go for 3 more. Last 2. Last 1. Big curl. Hold, 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 and release. Again, let your chest find your thighs, hug under your knees, and drop your forehead to the top of the knees. Just letting go of any of that tension in your abdominals. All right, good. This time we're going to roll back all the way onto our backs, having the knees bent up and feet on the mat. So just finding that position. And we're just going to come into some little bridges. So we want the soles of the feet really planted into the earth. From here, just have palms rotated down so that they're there to stabilize. Just starting with some little pelvic rocks. So pulling the hips backwards, really flattening through the spine, and then arching away. So imagining you can kind of fit your hand under your lower back. So you're just rocking backwards and forwards, flattening and arching the spine. So just releasing through your lower back. As you pull back, try to zip up through the core. So like we've practiced, get that nice squeeze of the abdominals as you pull back. Okay, and from here, hands really stabilize into the mat. As we pull back, start to roll your spine up, really drive down through the heels and lift the hips high, coming into little bridge position. At the top, hips are nice and level, backs of hips are squeezing to get that nice lift, and then we roll it back down. So let's just move through that. So peeling the spine up, squeezing to lift the hips, and rolling back down, coming into that neutral position. Peeling the spine up, squeezing at the top, rolling to release. Having your hands on the ground to keep you nice and stable. Just working at your own pace. Feeling that massaging of the spine as you go up and down. Feeling that squeezing of the hips, that squeezing of the glutes at the top. Roll it down. So again, as we lift, imagine you're squeezing and pulling everything in, hips, tummy, core, and roll it down. Just going for 2 more. Last one, squeeze, lift. This one we hold. Fingertips reach above the head. Keep that hold, and we're just going to allow the straight arms to move past the ears. And we're just going to go for 3 little lifts of the arms. So drop past the head, fingertips reach up to the ceiling. Super good work. Reaching the arms back, allowing the hips to drop. So we're just going to combine those 2 movements. So with the hips dropped, our arms are reaching past the ears. So we have nice straight arms. The arms stay straight throughout. As we start to peel and lift the hips, the hands and arms move so that they're above the head with the fingertips pointing towards the sky. As we roll and drop the hips down, the arms move past the ears again. So we squeeze, lift, fingertips high, roll and lower straight arms past the ears. So just combining that movement of the hips with the arms. As we lift and as we lift the arms, just make sure that our lower rib cage is pulling in. So in that lowered position, just check that we are pulling our lower ribs in so that we're not floating and opening through the chest. And let's go for a couple more. Squeeze to lift and lower. Last two. Good work. Last one. Fingertips high. Lower straight arms past the ears. And then we're going to roll onto our our left side. Okay, just setting up in a side lie position. So just have your head supported with your left hand. Now you can keep your head up. Alternatively, you can just really allow the head to rest and relax on that upper arm. From here, we want to make sure the hips are stacked. We're going to add a little bend in the knees. Just check, we want the heels, the hips and the shoulders to all be in line. So try to line up your heels with your hips, keeping that little bend in the knees. Right fingertips are TP'd onto the earth. Just check so you can see that I have a little gap in my waist. So we don't want to fall our waist down into the mat. So squeeze those abdominals, close off that right rib cage and keep that little gap in the waist area. From here, like we did in a standing position, we're just going to open and close that top knee. Okay, so the heels stay glued together and we're just opening and lifting the top knee. Again, imagining like it's a door that you're opening and closing. We want to check that where you're feeling it is in the right hip here. So just check in, make sure those little muscles are the ones that are tensing up and you can feel the work in that right hip and around to the back. So really squeeze those little hip muscles to lift the knee high. So we're just closing and opening. Try not to let that top hip roll back as we open. So the hip stays super stacked on the bottom hip. So imagine you've got a straight line working all the way down between your two hip bones. Good work. Let's just go for 4 more. Last one. From here, extend both legs. So you're coming into a full side lie position. And we're just going to lift and lower the top leg. Now you can't see, but my foot is slightly turned down. So again, we're tapping into those little hip muscles. So we're just lifting and lowering. Really keeping the tension in that right hip. Good, last 5. And 2. Squeeze and lift and then draw little circles. Imagine again you have that pole, that straight line through the hip bones and they're not moving, it's just the leg. So you're drawing little circles with the base of the foot and switching direction. Try to keep the core switched on. Last 2, 1, super good. Roll back onto your backs. Rock the knees side to side, so just letting go of a little bit of tension in your lower back. And then we're going to come onto the other side. So roll all the way onto your right side this time. Again, you can have your head supported or rest it on your upper arm. Checking the heels are in line with the hips, knees are bent, core is engaged so that we can slip our hand under our waist. TP the fingers, so fingertips stabilize onto the ground and then we start to lift and close that top knee. So again, opening and closing the doorway of your knee. Make sure the hip bones are stacked, so we've got that straight line all the way down. And feeling that nice engagement in the left hip area, so working into those deep hip muscles. Good work, so we're opening and closing. Keep a nice point in the toes. Let's go for 5. Last 3. Last 1, big open, let it close. Straighten the legs and come into your straight leg lifts. So again, have that top foot slightly pointed down. And we're just lifting and lowering. Getting that nice squeeze of the hip. Last 3, 2, 1. Hold it up and draw those little circles with the foot. Try not to rock in the hips, so you have to stay super stable in the core. And reverse the circle. Good job, let it go. Push yourself back up into a seated position. From here, just coming nice and wide with the feet. Fingertips behind your hips, and let's just rock the hip side to side. So again, just letting go of that muscle activation in the hip muscles. Super good. So just starting to bring a little bit more stretching into the body. So from here, plant your left foot into the mat, kick your right leg in front, and then hook the right ankle on top of the left thigh. Now, depending on how tight you are in your hips, to make it a little bit easier, just slide the left heel away from your hips, and that will decrease the stretch through the right hip. To go a little bit stronger, just start to heel toe the left foot closer towards your hip area. Again, keep that length through the spine. And just gently keep driving the right knee away. So that's going to get that nice stretch into the hips. Inhale, creating that length in the spine. Exhale, squeeze and go a little bit deeper into the stretch. Nice work. From here, we're going to rock the foot to the left side. So knee and foot drop to the left side so that we're coming then into a seated position. So we should have the right foot stepped on the outside of the left knee. So just check, maybe got a little bit lost on the way. That's all good. Just have that foot on the outside of the thigh. Inhale, left fingertip reaches high. Exhale, swoop that right arm behind your hip, and then we're going to twist to the right side. So you can hug that thigh. Maybe if you have a bit of rotation in the spine, you can always hook the elbow onto the outside of the thigh there. So again, just work with your breath. We inhale, extend, and we exhale, see if we can twist that tiny bit deeper. So really wringing out the spine, feeling that nice rotation through the entire back. Maybe you can gently look towards the back, over your right shoulder. Nice work, coming back to the center, bringing that foot back over to the side. Again, create that distance between the feet, so feet are hip distance, fingertips and hands are behind the hips. Kick the left leg high and then hook that left ankle on top of the right knee. So again, slide the heel away from you to decrease the stretch. To go a little bit deeper, start to bring that right foot closer in towards your hips. Keep the left ankle flexed, so keep that 90-degree angle in your left shin and foot. So we're keeping it nice and flexed and active. And then we just gently push the left knee away from your chest to get that stretch. The closer your chest is to the knee, the deeper the stretch. To go a little bit softer, you can also walk your hands further back. Good work. Just letting go of all that tension in the left hip, feeling that nice stretch. Again, we're going to rock the knee and foot to the right side this time. So you're going to drop to the side. So I'm just going to turn so you can see me. So we're going to have the left foot on the outside of the right thigh this time. So left knee pointed up towards the ceiling. Again, inhale, right fingertips reach up for the ceiling. Left arm swoops around and that hand plants behind your hips. And we exhale to twist to the left side. And you can hug that knee with the arm to go a little bit deeper into the twist. The elbow hooks onto the outside of the knee, and we can gently guide our body a little bit further into that rotation. Again, maybe you can gently look over your left shoulder, adding that twist into the entire spine. So creating balance back into the body by twisting to the other side. And release, rotate back to the center. Last little stretch before we wrap it up. We're going to create a nice big diamond shape with our legs. So heels are away from the hips. Maybe you're a little bit tighter in the hips and the knees are a little bit more lifted than mine are. And from here we're going to inhale to create that length in the back, and then exhale, walk the hands down the shins, maybe grabbing the shins, the ankles, or maybe you can grab the feet with the hands. Again, just try to soften the knees down into the mat. Don't arch through the spine, so try to keep that length in the back. And then just gently pull yourself a little bit deeper into the stretch. So feeling that nice opening through the sides of the legs all the way up into the hips. Focusing on your breath. So inhale, feeling your chest expand, back of the heart opening towards the back, and exhale, let it all go. So just starting to find that softness in the body again. Finding nice deep, slow breaths. Fingertips walk back towards the hips. Come into a nice cross-legged position. And as we always do, finishing with a couple deep breaths. So inhale, fingertips reach high. Exhale, lower. Inhale, open the chest to the front. Exhale, big hug. And last one, inhale, lift, and exhale, lower. And good job, guys. So hopefully you joined on YouTube. Sorry we can't give the live classes at the moment. That's obviously just the way it is. And yeah, hopefully we get you back in the studio soon. Otherwise, we'll keep doing these online series, and I'll see you again then. Bye, guys.